So in this video, we are going to be talking about Lucy Letby. Now, Lucy Letby is a nurse out of the United Kingdom who worked at the Countess of Chester Hospital in Cheshire. Now, Lucy has been charged with 7 homicides and the attempted homicides of 10 more children. Lucy has 22 charges against her. She has been arrested multiple times, but when she was finally arrested in 2020, then of course, this is when they finally felt that they had what it took to press charges against Lucy after over a year-long investigation. Now, between 2020 and 2022, obviously the defense and prosecution were preparing for this case. This case actually started in October of 2022, and now Lucy Letby herself has taken the stand. Hello, I'm Sunny Justice, and welcome to It's a Criming Shame. And this is the case of Lucy Letby. Okay, so as you can see in the graph that I had shown in the other previous video, this is the nurses present on clinical and administrative duties. Now, the X indicates on-duty presence of the shift where a suspicious event has been identified. So, as you can see, it goes from child A to child Q. It talks about the dates, the night shift, and the X's again are as stated what we just said. So if you look down the purple line, which is Lucy Letby's, Lucy has been on every single shift. Now let's get into the Lucy Letby case as she took the stand today, and her defense was turned to ask her some questions. So this is Lucy Letby's parents, John and Susan Letby, as they were entering the court to hear the evidence, of course, against their daughter Lucy. Now, the barrister for Lucy Letby is Ben Myers Casey, and also filmed entering the court in Manchester. So this is a picture of her lawyer, and again, the defense will now be talking to Lucy Letby, and her lawyer will be covering some questions with regards to the note and regards to how she has felt this entire time through, of course, being arrested. So that's what we're going to get into today. Again, let's get into it. Okay, so Judith Moritz is the one from inside the courtroom that has been providing with the information that was going on in the courtroom today with regards to Lucy Letby. So we're going to go through exactly what she was putting out there in a step-by-step format. Okay, so Judith is reporting saying that she is the only BBC correspondent in the courtroom itself, and one of only 5 reporters in court number 7 at Manchester Crown Court. Because of the level of interest in the case, most of those covering the trial are watching on a video link from the annex in a different building. For the last 6 months, Lucy Letby has been sitting inside the dock, flanked by prison officers, watching proceedings from behind a glass screen. Now she's made the short journey across the courtroom to the witness box, and it's her first chance to see her up close from her seat nearby. She is sitting directly opposite the jury who will decide her fate. After a year's worth of prosecution evidence, this is the first chance they've had to hear from Lucy directly. So Lucy Letby is now standing and giving her oath. She's being questioned by her defense barrister, Ben Myers KC. She's given her full name of Lucy Letby and her date of birth. She is now 33, and she was 25 to 26 at the time of the alleged offenses. His Honor is Judge Goss is in the court, and the jurors are also coming in now. She's reporting. Lucy Letby is in the witness box sitting directly opposite them. She was flanked by 2 prison officers. So Myers said he will begin by asking Lucy about her background. Lucy says that she grew up in Hereford and went to school and local sixth form college there. She says, "I've always wanted to work with children," but that it was towards the end of A-levels that she chose nursing. She says, "I was the first person in my family to go to university." She did a 3-year degree program at Chester. She says, "The majority of my clinical placements were at the Countess of Chester Hospital, either at the children's ward or on the neonatal unit. I qualified in September of 2011. When asked how many babies she'd care for during the period in question, she says, probably hundreds. Myers Letby's defense barrister goes on to ask her, and did you care for them? To which she replies, yes. She is then asked if she ever wanted to hurt any baby. No, that's completely against what being a nurse is. I only wanted to help, and only to care for them, she says. She is then asked how she felt when she was taken off duty. I was distraught. It was life-changing. I was put into a non-clinical role, which I didn't enjoy. From a self-confidence point of view, it made me question everything about myself. Myers is asking Letby how she felt when she learned what she was being accused of. It was sickening. I just couldn't believe it. It was devastating. She says, adding, I don't think you can be accused of anything worse than that. I just changed as a person. My mental health deteriorated. I felt very isolated. Lucy Letby is speaking calmly and clearly. Her parents are sitting just behind her in the public gallery, along with two friends. Some of the parents of the babies who died or were harmed at the Countess of Chester neonatal unit are also in court. Lucy Letby is crying in the witness box. She says, my job was my life, and my whole world was stopped. She is still crying. Asked how hard it is to cope with what you are being accused of, Letby says, everything has changed. Everything about me, my hopes, my future has changed. I've been remanded in prison since November of 2020. It's been difficult in 4 different prisons. Myers asked Lucy Letby about the first time she was arrested. She says there was a loud knocking at the door at 6 o'clock in the morning. My father was staying with me at that point. He was staying there too. She is crying and wiping her eyes with tissues. Letby says that she told she was being arrested on suspicion of homicides and attempted homicides of multiple babies, and was taken to the police station in her pajamas. When she was released, she wasn't allowed to return to Chester, so she went to live with her parents in Hereford. Letby says that at her parents' home, there was a loud banging on the door again, and it was the police for a second time. She says, it was the scariest thing I've been through, and it's traumatized me. She says she is now very sensitive to any noise, any unexpected change. She gets startled. She says she has been diagnosed with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, in the direction relation to the arrest. When Letby was arrested for the 3rd time, she was taken into custody. She says she makes a 3-hour round trip to court each day. So Letby is now being asked about the notes that were presented as evidence during the trial. Myers says, we've all seen a number of notes that you've written. In general, are you the sort of person who writes things down? Yes, Lucy Letby responds, saying she's the sort of person who writes everything down, and I have difficulties throwing it away. The court is shown a green note, which she has been shown before, with Letby's writing on it. So on this note, there's many things that you might want to come back and take a look at. As you can see, there's a big circled word hate there. Then there's I am evil, I did this, I don't deserve to live, I killed them, purpose because I'm not good enough. Again, come back and read this for yourself and see what you make of this note from what you see. So when asked why have you written not good enough, Myers asked Lucy, to which she responds, because that's how people had made me feel. I thought I had been incompetent and done something wrong that had hurt children. She adds, it was just me processing my thoughts. It wasn't supposed to be read by anyone. So Myers asks, why does the note say slander and discrimination? Letby says, well, that's what the hospital trust was saying about me, the allegation. Myers asks, what kind of mental state were you in when you wrote this note? Letby says, "She was not good at all, and that throughout that time, my mental health was poor." Myers asks, "How long were you feeling like this?" Letby responds, 2 years. Myers says, "It says I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough. Does that mean you did something intentionally to kill them?" Letby says, "No, it meant that I didn't think I'd been good enough and had somehow failed in my duties." Myers is continuing to ask Letby about the note, asking about the line, "I am evil, I did this." "Why did you write that?" he asks. Letby says, "I felt at the time that if I'd done something wrong, I must be such an evil, awful person. I'd somehow been incompetent and had done something wrong, which had affected those babies." Myers then asks why she wrote, "I did this." Letby replies, "I felt I must be responsible in some way. I think looking back on it now, I was really struggling, and that this was a way of me expressing what I wasn't able to say to anyone else." Myers is setting out how he'll proceed. He tells the jury he'll go through all the general background to Lucy Letby's case, and will then go through all the 17 babies on the indictment with her. He asks her how she feels as she is being asked about the arrests and the note, "See our previous posts," to which she responds, "It is uncomfortable for me. I'm a very private person." Myers now asks Letby how much she valued being a nurse. Letby responds, "Massively. It was everything, and I'd always strive to be the best nurse I could. I was always a mentor for student nurses at the university." Letby tells the court that she mentored 5 or 6 students during her time at the neonatal unit. So Judith is reporting that Lucy Letby is wearing a black suit. She has mid-brown shoulder-length hair. 2 female prison officers are sitting alongside her. She's holding her hands underneath the desk of the witness box. In the court, there are 6 barristers, 3 prosecution, 3 defense, and other legal staff. The judge, His Honor Judge Goss, is wearing red and ermine robes. Lucy Letby's parents are also in the court and are sitting just behind her in the courtroom. So Letby is now explaining that she had a qualification that enabled her to work with babies in intensive care. She says, "That was predominantly what I did. I was very flexible to changing shifts and doing overtime. I didn't have a family," she goes on, adding, "I did enjoy intensive care work. I think all the nurses on the unit had an area they preferred. No aspect of my work was ever boring." So Judith is reporting that we are hearing from Lucy Letby today as she begins her defense. But for several months, the court has been hearing from the prosecution lawyers. In short, prosecutors have argued that from June 2015 to June 2016, Letby targeted 17 babies that were being cared for at the Countess of Chester Hospital's neonatal unit where she worked. They allege that Letby had taken the lives of 7 of them and attempted to kill 10 more. She denies all charges. To give you an idea of what Letby is accused of, here's a snapshot of some of what the prosecution has said. They said Letby inserted air into the baby's stomach via a nasogastric tube, causing him to collapse. That one of the babies had died of internal bleeding and the injection of air, a medical expert said, adding that the blood loss he suffered could have been the result of an inappropriate use of a medical tool. The prosecution also said Letby overfed a baby with milk through a nasogastric tube or injected air into the same tube. The court is now looking at clinical notes and observation charts which relate to some of the babies in the case. Letby is asked to explain how she would record information on them and what they mean. She says the nursing notes which were made about the baby's treatment should have been discarded at the end of a shift, but were sometimes in her uniform pocket and were taken home with her rather than being put into a confidential waste. Lucy Letby had both an iPad and a computer monitor screen with her in the witness box. She's using them to look at the evidence, such as charts and clinical notes. She also has a 2-lever arch paper folders containing documentation. The jurors have the same material. The jury are told that there will be a 15-minute break and the evidence will be heard in 1-hour sessions. Judge Goss says, You've heard the defendant has a long day, and she'll be in the witness box for a long time, so there'll be appropriate breaks. Nurse Lucy Letby fought back tears at times as she told jurors that she had not harmed any children on a hospital's neonatal unit. Prosecutors alleged that from June 2015 to 2016 that she had taken the lives of 7 babies and attacked 10 others at the Countess of Chester Hospital. It said she used various means to target the infants, including injections of air into their system and insulin poisoning. The 33-year-old has denied all charges since she was first arrested in July of 2018. Over the last 7 months, Manchester Crown Court has heard prosecution evidence in regards to the 17 alleged victims, but today Letby addressed the allegations from the witness box for the first time. This is a picture, of course, of Lucy Letby that was posted by Judith. So, asked if she had ever harmed a child, she said no. That's completely against what being a nurse is. She explained that the impact the allegations have had, saying, "Everything about me and my life, the hopes I had for the future, everything is gone." Asked to explain a note found in the police search of her home which said, "I am evil, I did this," Letby said she felt at the time that she had somehow been incompetent and had done something wrong which had affected those babies. Letby explained that she had since been diagnosed with the PTSD and is prescribed antidepressants. "There were times when I did not want to live. I thought about taking my own life," she said. So we're going to conclude this as part 1, and part 2 I will continue on with the Lucy Letby case that has been going on in today's events. The next day in court will be on Friday. So today is Tuesday, so obviously Friday is a few days away. And again, I'll put this out as part 1, and then I'll make part 2, just so it's not too long, and of course break it down a little bit. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave your comments in the comment section of this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, and please give this video a like and a share. Thank you again so much for watching this video with me in the case of Lucy Letby.